please allow me to introduce to you our resource speaker for this session. Our resource speaker is an accredited expert in food product and development. He is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Food Technology in West Visayas State University and took his master's degree in food technology in KU Leuven and Ghent University in Belgium. Currently, he is teaching BS Food Technology in Guimaras State College and researcher in the Western Visayas Food Innovation Center. His expertise in product innovation, optimization, and standardization will surely help our MSMEs in Region 6 to improve food product quality. Let us all welcome Mr. Adrian C. Alumbro. Sir?
Magandang hapon po sa lahat and welcome to the afternoon session of the webinar series Usapang Tech-Negosyo. This afternoon, I will be talking about food product development. This presentation is intended to everyone who wants to learn more about product development. So I do hope that at the end of the presentation, you will learn something meaningful. Here is the outline of the presentation. So first, we are going to start with the definition of product development. And then we are going to discuss the different categories of new products. This will be followed by the reasons for new product development. Then pag-uusapan din natin yung different stages of food product development as well as the activities under each stage. And then I'm going to introduce to you the Western Visayas Food Innovation Center. Here I will be presenting the services that we offer, of course, related to product development, as well as the equipment or technologies that we currently have. And then finally, we are going to talk about important FDA authorizations. So meron tayong dalawang important FDA authorizations, as you may already know. So these are the License to Operate or LTO and Certificate of Product Registration. I'll be giving more emphasis on the CPR, and you will know later on as to why the emphasis that I will give is more on the Certificate of Product Registration. Okay, so here are the objectives of the presentation. So at the end of the presentation, the participants should understand the meaning and importance of food product development, understand how food product development works and how it can be used to improve your business. If in the event na wala pa kayong business, it's okay. Kasi yung mga concepts na matutunan natin dito related to food product development, you can always use them later on when you do your own business. And then finally, know where to ask for help for matters related to product development. I know that there is another session where one of our experts will be talking about the services that DOST 6 provide to our MSMEs and startups. So that is also a very important presentation as well. So please do not miss that one. Okay, now let's go to the definition of product development. So product development is a systematic, commercially oriented research to develop products and processes satisfying a known or suspected consumer need. So take note of the highlighted words. So first, product development is systematic, and it is also commercially oriented research. So it is a research-based. And then another very important thing is that we do product development because we want to satisfy or address a particular consumer need. Then I'd like to add that product development by nature is multidisciplinary. So this is not one man's job. So in fact, if you are working in big companies and you have a product development project, you normally work in teams. So it is multidisciplinary. It is common to work with individuals who are well versed in marketing, consumer science, food science, and processing. And this is necessary. This is necessary. In my case, for example, I am a food technologist, so I know how to do product prototyping. But when it comes to marketing, very limited yung knowledge ko. So if I do product development projects on my own, I am bound to fail because I have very limited knowledge when it comes to marketing. So always remember this. Now, when you do your own product development project in the future, be sure to work with those individuals na merong ganitong mga expertise. So if your expertise is more on marketing, find someone who can help you with product prototyping. And also, yung goal ng product development natin is to produce new products that would satisfy a particular consumer need. Okay, and since we're talking about new products, it is ideal that we know the definition of what makes a product new. So a new product is a product not previously manufactured or introduced into the market. And when we talk about the concept of product newness, there are three groups of actors that we have to consider. So these are the consumers, distributors, and producers. We have to understand na pag pinag-uusapan natin yung concept ng newness or kung ano yung bago or not, this can be very relative depending kung sino yung tinatanong natin. Okay? So even among consumers may have a different view of what is new or what is not. An example of this would be about the story of Asian food products. Asian food products in the early 1990s started to penetrate the Western supermarkets. These products were then considered by the locals to be something new because they have never seen these products before. But actually, in Asia, these products are already well established. Okay? So, dahil nag-change ng location, so parang naging bago yung product. So, ganun yung nangyari. So, even among consumers, we have different perception to what is new or what is not new. Okay. But for us to understand more about what makes a product new, it is ideal that we also learn the different categories of new products. So here in this example, we have 7. So we have creative products, innovative products, new packaging of existing products, reformulated products, new forms and repositioned products, and line extensions. So we'll go through them one by one. So first, we have creative products. These products are also known as true new products. So our example here is potato chips. So potato chips was invented by George Crumb in 1853. And you can actually read the story of how potato chips was invented. It's actually a little bit funny because this was invented by accident. But nevertheless, when this first came out to the market, this was something completely new to the consumers. They have never seen this product before. Kasi yung common during that time was potato fries. So during that time, this product was considered to be new. And then we have innovative products. These are products developed using new technologies. So innovators are harnessing emerging technologies or applying existing technologies in new ways. Okay? And in our example here, we have plant-based meat products. And a very important technology behind these products is the extrudable fat technology. So what does this technology do? So this technology mimics animal fat in plant-based meats, which allows for more authentic fat textures. So the products that you see here looks like animal meat, but these are actually plant-based meat products. But they do taste like animal meat. No? Yung texture niya is also uh, just like animal meat because of this extrudable fat technology. So it's quite interesting technology. And then the next category is new packaging of existing products. So the novelty of packaging will determine the amount and degree of research and development. So if you want to develop your own packaging material for an existing product, you have to consider na you may require a new packaging equipment. No? And again, this is a very important consideration because again, you will have to invest money if you're going to um, procure a new packaging equipment. So in our example here, we have ketchup. So we have bottled ketchup, and then we also have a ketchup na nasa stand-up pouch with a resealable cap. So basically the same product, but different packaging material. So I think that's quite straightforward, and I don't have to do any further explanation. Okay, next category is reformulated products. So reformulation or food reformulation is defined as the redesigning of an existing processed food product with the objective of making it healthier. Actually, there are other reasons as well. No? But initially, reformulation was based on targeting specific food ingredients na considered to be harmful when consumed in excess. This includes sugar, salt, and saturated fat. And in our example here, we have Coca-Cola. So we know that Coca-Cola products or Coca-Cola has been using throughout the years different sweeteners. Now, so there was an article I think that was in 2019. Na in that article, it was stated that the Philippine or Coca-Cola Philippines switched to 100% sugar in place of high fructose corn syrup, ito yung HFCS. No? Yung reason nila was they wanted to weather the impact of higher taxes on sugar-sweetened drinks. No? It was said na for products sweetened using high fructose corn syrup or HFCS, yung tax per liter is 12 pesos. Pero for those products sweetened by sugar, yung babayaran mo lang na tax per liter is 6 pesos. So malaking diferensya. So this is an example of, you know, why we reformulate products. So yung reason in this case is yung sa tax. But it can also be na yung reason for reformulating a product is related to health. So Coke is also using stevia. I think you already or you are familiar with stevia. This is also a sweetener, no? And this is a healthier alternative compared to HFCS and sugar. So Coca-Cola is using stevia in one of their products. Okay, so the next category is new forms of existing products. So here in our example, we have liquid soy sauce and we have powdered soy sauce. So different form, liquid and powder. Itong powder is actually spray dried. No? Kaya naging in powder form siya. And take note that change in form may lead to change in application. In this case, you see their jerky, no? Beef jerky. And yung ginawa ng chef is he sprinkled uh, the powdered soy sauce on top of the meat to add flavor. So its application is also quite interesting. So this is again an example of new forms of existing products. And then the next category is repositioned existing products. Repositioning is defined as the process of changing a target market's understanding or perception of a product or service. So I know that you're familiar with cereals. Normally, cereals, we consume that for breakfast. But here, Kellogg wants to reposition their cereal product into snacks because they wanted to target millennials. And you can even see there's a packaging nila, Fruit Loops Jumbo Snacks. So this is another example or one example of why we reposition products. No? They want to change how consumers perceive their product, but of course in a good way. In this case, they just wanted to target the millennials, kaya ni reposition nila yung existing product nila. Okay, and then the final or last category of new products is line extensions. So line extensions occur when a company introduces additional items in the same product category under the same brand name. So we have here Coca-Cola products, so Coke Life, Original Taste, Coke Zero, and Coke Light. So these products are under the same product category. They have the same brand name, but they only differ slightly in their formulation. Okay, so these are line extensions. Okay, now let's go to the reasons for new product development. So the first reason uh, of why we do product development is that new markets may be created. So I think a good example here would be smartphones. So there was a time when the Nokia cellular phones were quite popular. So people, almost everyone, was using Nokia phones or cellular phones. But also during that time, there are some companies who already started to do R&D or product development to come up with smartphones because they believed that smartphones are the future. And nangyari nga. No? So a new market opened. No? Yung market ay smartphones. And then another reason is new knowledge and technologies make previous concepts feasible. So I think a good example of this would be yung vacuum frying technology na available dito. Because before pa na-invent yung vacuum frying technology, it was impossible to fry fruits and vegetables in the open air kasi nasusunog siya, at least for certain commodities. Meron naman tayong products na we can fry like banana and kamote. But for example, mango, hindi natin pwede i-fry before using traditional frying. But because of the development of this vacuum frying technology, we are now able to fry a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. So this is a good thing kasi yung vacuum fried products are considered as a healthy alternative to existing chip products in the market, because nga of the low temperature that we use in vacuum frying, yung nutrients na dyan sa pagkain ay na-preserve, okay, including yung taste and yung flavor. Okay, so new knowledge and technologies make previous concepts feasible. Okay, and then we have their changes in government legislations, health programs, and agricultural policy may require the development of new products. So in some countries, the government is actually pressuring the manufacturing industry to make use of their byproducts. So instead na itatapon lang yung byproducts, they encourage the industry na gamitin nila yon in developing, different products. So that is one way of how the government can, influence innovation. Okay, so those are the reasons for new product development. Now let's go to the stages of product development. So the first stage is product strategy. And then the second stage is product design and process development. So most of our work comes here in stage 2 as a food technologist. But it doesn't mean to say that we are not involved in the other stages. Of course, we also take part. Pero what I'm trying to say here is that most of our work is nakafocus dito sa stage 2, product design and process development. And then the third stage is product commercialization, and the fourth stage is product launch and evaluation. Here is an overview of the stages of product development and the corresponding activities under each stage. So for stage one, or product strategy, we have their initial screening. Itong screening na to is different from the screening that we will do here in stage two. So itong screening na to is more on screening of ideas or concepts. And also we do preliminary market assessment, meron ding detailed market research, product concept development, and financial feasibility study. So considering the activities found in stage one, you can say na kailangan mo talagang you need to work with someone who is well versed in marketing because maraming activities na related to marketing like itong preliminary market assessment, itong market research, and itong financial feasibility study. Okay? And take note na hindi natin to pwedeng skip. We have to do this. This is the first stage. We should do this one. No? Same as with all the stages that we see here. So again, if you are not well versed with marketing, make sure that you work with someone na alam kung paano to gagawin. And then stage two is product design and process development. So here we do product prototyping, in-house testing, consumer testing, and scaling up. And since we're doing product prototyping here, we also focus on product quality, standardization of the process, and also consistency of the quality of the products that we produce. And also we look at the efficiency of the process. We also have to make sure na yung process is time and cost efficient. No? So as you can see, marami ding considerations na kailangan gawin dito sa stage 2. And then for stage 3, we have product commercialization. Before I proceed, here meron tayong consumer testing. So yung prototype na develop natin, we have to see if this is acceptable to our consumers. So kaya gagawa tayo ng consumer testing. Okay? And here in stage 3, meron tayong trial production and market test. So itong market test and yung consumer testing, they are different. No? They are very different. So market test, we do this one because we want to see how the product or how our product would perform in the market with existing competition. So again, hindi natin to pwede skip. We have to do this one. A good question at this point is, what are the requirements for commercialization? Diba? So binanggit na natin yung product commercialization. But is it okay na we go immediately through commercialization? Are we not missing something here? Okay, so that's why sinali ko na yung topic about securing a certificate of product registration, because whether we like it or not, yung direction talaga natin sa product development is towards commercialization. Okay, and then stage 4, product launch and evaluation. So here we have pre-launch business analysis, production startup, market launch, post-launch operational, and financial analysis. So those are the fundamental stages of food product development. Okay. Okay, this one here is another way of how we can look at stage 2, or product design and process development. So here we have the activities and outcomes now specific to stage 2. So we start normally with the product design specifications, and then the first activity will be getting the feel. So in this activity, we try to recognize the variables na kailangan natin gamitin in our product prototyping. So the outcome of that would be product mock-ups, and then we will proceed to the next activity, which is screening. So again, itong screening na to is different from the one we did in stage 1. So stage 1, it was about screening of ideas and concepts. Pero dito, screening of variables. No? Yung variables na na-identify natin dito sa getting the feel activity. Don't worry because we're going to define later on kung ano yung mga variables na tinutukoy ko dito. Okay, so after screening, yung outcome there would be elementary product prototype. And once we have the elementary product prototype, we can then start with ballpark studies. So here in ballpark studies, we set variable limits, uh, consider variable interactions, basic packaging, and consumer testing. So dito natin ginagawa yung consumer testing. We have to know if our prototype is acceptable to our consumers. And once acceptable yung product prototype natin, then we can go to the next activity, which is optimization. So when we do optimization, yung gusto natin na makuha dito or ma-determine is the optimum processing conditions that would yield the best product. Okay, so optimization. So once we accomplish that, then we can have our optimum product prototype. And once we have the optimum product prototype, then we can start scaling up production and marketing. Then final product prototype, product and process specifications. Okay, so basically that's another way of how we can look at stage 2. So I'll be giving, or I gave emphasis to this because as mentioned earlier, this is where most of our work as a food technologist comes in. Okay, now let's go to definition of terms. So as mentioned earlier, or in the previous slide, we're going to uh, uh, define kung ano itong mga variables na binabanggit ko. Okay, first one is the independent variables. So independent variables are process inputs that can be manipulated. So an example of this would be the ingredients that we are going to use in our formulation or yung mga raw materials, no? Type of raw material, quality and quantity. But it can also be processing. Ano yung type of processing na ginagamit natin? Okay? And processing conditions. Like, ano yung temperature na ginamit natin sa pagluto? Or ano yung frying time or yung freezing time and so on. So these are considered to be independent variables. So that's one. And the second one is the dependent variables. So these are measurable parameters that define a product. So when we talk about, what defines a product, we have to consider yung product properties, which can be physical, chemical, microbiological, sensory, or nutritional in nature. Okay, so the reason why we defined these two independent and dependent variables, because these are important if we are going to understand the concept of product prototyping. Okay, so how can we make use of these terminologies? So here we have an overview of a process. So when we do product prototyping, so of course it undergoes a process, and normally we have inputs and we have outputs. So in this case, yung input natin, as stated in the previous slide, ito yung raw material or ingredient or processing parameters that we can use. Cooking temperature, cooking time, and so on. These are our independent variables, okay? And then we do the process, and then yung magiging output natin is yung product, okay? But what defines a product? So there are attributes as mentioned earlier, no? And in our example here, we have sensory attributes, color, taste, aroma. Ito yung common, ito yung alam natin. And these variables are also called dependent variables. So basically, what we want to see here is ano yung effect ni independent variables towards our dependent variables. So we are trying to establish a cause and effect relationship. To further understand the concept, let's have an example. So for example, you want to develop mango juice, and you wanted to see the effect of pasteurization temperature towards the acceptability in ascorbic acid or vitamin C content of your juice products. So basically, what you're trying to do is you want to know, no, yung independent variables mo, uh, pasteurization temperature, kung ano yung effect niya towards product acceptability and vitamin C content. So in this example, yung independent variables mo ay ito, acceptability and ascorbic acid. Maybe at this point, no, I'd also like to say na lang na yung normal na ginagawa natin is we do the acceptability test or we do sensory evaluation. But actually, we can also do other types of analysis. In this example, no, na binigay ko, vitamin C, vitamin C content ng mango juice product. This is important, no, in product prototyping because if you can develop a product na merong vitamin C, that is actually an added value, no? In other words, if mas-substantiate mo yung claim mo na meron yung vitamin C yung product mo, your product has an edge over other existing products in the market. So that is a very good thing because you know naman na consumers nowadays, especially with the pandemic, they're looking for food products with health benefits. Kaya naging uso. I've read an article na tumaas yung demand for functional food products. So hindi na tayo mag-stick doon sa traditional na way natin na we just focus on testing the acceptability and sensory evaluation. Mag-level up tayo. We do mga other types of analysis like analysis of vitamin C sa product, or you also want to check the antioxidants, if there are antioxidants present in your product. So these are just some of the examples now that you can do later on when you do product prototyping or product development. But the key point is hindi na tayo mag-stick dun sa traditional na acceptability lang. I mean, I'm not saying na hindi to gawin because it's very important, but what I'm trying to say is that we can open up to other types of analysis as well. Okay, so much for that. Now, let's go to the next slide. So here, this is an illustration of how we do experiments when we do product prototyping. This is a little bit technical, but don't worry, I will explain it as simple as I can. So we have 7 steps there. And the first one is, setting the objectives. Normally, when little is known about the process or the technology, we start with screening experiments. And then after that, yung results na makukuha natin or namin for the screening experiments, we use that in optimization studies. Okay, so parang ganun yung pattern. Pero may mga instances naman na marami na kaming or marami na tayong available data and we can go immediately to optimization experiments. But there are also cases na we are required to do simple experiments. Like for example, meron kang bagong ingredient na gusto mong i-add sa existing na formulation. So ang mangyayari dyan is you have 2 samples or 2 treatments. Yung isa, sample containing your original formulation, and then yung isa naman is your original formulation plus the new ingredient that you want to add. And then you are going to compare both. So in that case, that is a simple comparative experiment. So meron ding mga ganyang types of experiments that we do. Okay, so step 2 is, selecting variables and setting the levels. So dito na natin isa-set yung mga independent and dependent variables. So imagine, this is very important because you have to determine before you conduct the experiment kung ano yung mga independent and dependent variables na kailangan mong i-consider. Like for example, let's just say na you are developing chips. Pero hindi mo kinonsider in your parameter yung crunchiness niya. Okay, so hindi mo measure. So that could be very dangerous because we know na chips, it's very important for chips, yung crunchiness or yung crispiness. Or let's say, for example, nag-imbento ka ng palaman. And then, hindi mo kinonsider yung spreadability as one of the parameters that you are going to measure later on. So, it's also quite risky. Kasi nga, baka hindi spreadable yung palaman mo, so hindi siya maganda. Okay? So, things like that. No? So, always take note of these two, itong mga independent and dependent variables. And then in step 3, we have their select and generate design. So, medyo malalim na to. Dito na pumapasok yung mga experimental designs. We have to consider na when we do experiments, dapat tama yung design because we want the data or the results that we get to be conclusive. Kasi kung puro trial and error lang tayo sa product development, it's a waste of time, no, and a waste of resources. So that's why we do, experimental designs or designs of experiments. And then we perform the experiment, we analyze and interpret the results, and then we report the results. And depending on the results that we get, there are cases na kailangan mag-conduct ng further experiments. No? But it's normal. It's completely normal. Okay, so I showed you all of these things, no? Kahit technical siya, because I want you to understand na yung experimentation or yung pag-conduct ng experiments during product prototyping is very important. No? Hindi pwede na gagawa lang tayo ng product without basis. No? So it has to undergo this process as well. So I hope na you can appreciate yung ginagawa namin dito sa Food Innovation Center and also to the food technologists out there who are practicing. Okay, so this is how it's being done. Okay, now let's go to the Western Visayas Food Innovation Center. So the Food Innovation Center is a one-stop shop for addressing technology-related concerns of the food processing industry, particularly in process and product development. So here are the common issues that we normally hear from our clients. No? These issues are related to food safety, lack of knowledge on research and development, lack of modern processing equipment, short product shelf life, and other quality defects, and poor packaging. The Food Innovation Center, together with DOST 6, we are trying to, address these issues by providing services to our clients. And to have an overview of the services that we offer, now we have here the following: research and development, technology resource center, training and consultancy, laboratory and testing, packaging and labeling. So note that we work together with DOST6 so that we can provide the necessary services to our clients. Okay. Okay, let's go through them one by one. So research and development. So a venue for Western Visayas researchers to conduct R&D activities to produce new food products. We do not work only with researchers. We have clients from the MSMEs sector as well. And so if ever you have, a product development project in mind and you do not know where to start or where to begin, you can always contact us and we can talk about that one. Okay. Food Innovation Center as an information resource center. No? Information databases, product library, and repository of mature technologies of existing Western Visayas food products. I am aware that DOST is keeping a list of the technologies developed here at the Food Innovation Center, but we also have that list as well. So kung gusto niyong malaman kung ano na yung mga products na nagawa or na-develop here in Western Visayas, you can also ask us about that. No? Para maiwasan din natin yung duplication. No? Okay. And then training and consultancy. So this is provided by technical experts from DOST, RDIs, SUCs, and other institutions. So DOST has a pool of experts now who can help you if you have problems related to food product and process development, food safety, quality control, sensory evaluation, and packaging. No? So I think the concern here is just to know kung sino yung i-contact natin para matulungan tayo dun sa specific issue that we are undertaking. And then laboratory and testing. Now, DOST 6, Regional Standards and Testing Lab, will provide chemical and microbiological testing as well as nutritional analysis. And I've heard that meron na ding shelf life testing. So these analyses are very important if you are going to uh, apply for a certificate of product registration. No? And then finally, packaging and labeling services. So we provide assistance on the design and determination of compatible product packaging materials. I think DOST is providing this one. And so I think maybe later on this can be clarified as well. Okay, so those are the services that we at the Food Innovation Center together with DOST6 provide to our clients. Now let's go to the technologies available at the Food Innovation Center. So first, we have the spray dryer. So spray dryer is used in producing powdered products. So yung application niya ay nasa fruits and vegetables, if powdered flavorings and ingredients, powdered dairy products, including infant formula. So here are the products developed at the Food Innovation Center. So merong tayong calamansi powder, rosal powder, mango powder, and libas. And not in the picture, but there's actually a combination of calamansi and rosal powder, and we call it carousel powder. So these products are lightweight, shelf-stable powdered products. Okay. The next technology is vacuum fryer. Okay, so far, ito yung pinaka mabenta. Ito yung pinaka ginagamit ng mga clients namin. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, vacuum fryer allows us to fry at temperatures as low as 100 degrees Celsius. No? We even tried 80 degrees Celsius, pero mas mahaba lang yung frying time. But the importance of this technology is that we can fry fruits and vegetables, commodities na hindi pwedeng i-fry using traditional frying. Okay? And a very important attribute of these products is that it contains less fat or oil and the pre-preserved din yung natural flavor. And it has better nutrient retention. Kasi nga, the frying temperature that we're using here is very low. Now, traditional frying is around 160 to 180, but here we are using temperatures as low as 100 degrees Celsius. So malaki yung difference. No? So it has better nutrient retention compared to products that are traditionally fried. So it can be used for fruits and vegetables, marine and fishery products. Okay, now let's go to the next technology or equipment. We have here the water retort. So the water retort that we have here has a dual function. Now it can be used as a steam retort and immersion retort. So steam retort is used for glass or bottled products, while immersion retort can be used for retortable pouches. So yung application niya ay nasa thermally processed foods. Example that would be canned meatloaf, bottled sardines, or pasteurized foods or pasteurized juices. So pwede din tong gamitin for pasteurizing juice products. And then we have the freeze dryer. So etong freeze dryer, this is actually a very expensive technology. Pero yung products na produce from these are also of high quality. Yung application niya ay nasa high value foods, no? Pharmaceuticals and biological samples. So, yung mechanism dito is that this machine removes the moisture from the sample or from the food product through sublimation. So, non-destructive way of drying siya. Unlike sa evaporative drying, no, na we're using hot air and nasisira actually yung product, no? And unlike evaporative drying, freeze-dried products nare-retain yung properties, no? Yung structure is also retained. So talagang high value foods yung na-produce using this technology. Okay. An example of this would be instant coffee. May mga instant coffee products tayo sa market that are actually freeze-dried. Okay, so this is also very interesting technology. Okay, so those are the technologies that we have at the Food Innovation Center. So maybe some of you here would be, interested in using one of these equipment in the future. So again, don't hesitate to contact us. And then let's go to the Food and Drug Administration authorizations. So as mentioned earlier, meron tayong dalawa, LTO and CPR. So ang LTO is an authorization issued by the FDA to an establishment to grant permission to undertake a trade or carry out a business activity. So it's an authorization issued by LTO. Certificate of Product Registration naman is a certificate issued by the FDA for products that have been approved and registered in the Philippines by the Bureau. So from the definition, you can see na yung CPR is talagang product specific talaga siya. And also mentioned a while ago na if we are going to commercialize our products, kailangan natin tong mga authorization na to, okay, LTO and CPR. So that is why in-include ko siya dito sa presentation. Because of course, when you do the planning stage of your product development, dapat pag-iisipan mo na to because you also need to, kailangan mo tong pondohan because you're going to spend resources if you are going to apply for LTO and CPR. Okay, so who needs to secure an authorization from FDA? So if you're a manufacturer, a trader, or distributor, you have to secure an authorization from FDA. You have to secure an LTO or CPR. It's not because you want to, but it's because you need to. No, I hope that this will not confuse you. It is actually a need, and obtaining an LTO and a CPR is actually it actually works to your advantage. No, for example, if you really want your products to reach the intended clients, then you have to secure these kasi that's the only way na makakapasok ka, for example, sa malls or sa big supermarkets. If you don't have a CPR or an LTO, parang tinatago mo yung product mo kasi takot ka na mahuli ka ng mga ng FDA. So if you have these authorizations, no, malayo yung abutan ng product. It will definitely reach the intended clients, mas mapapansin yung product mo. Kahit gaano pa ka ganda or ka-okay yung product mo, if you don't have these authorizations from FDA, malilimit yung kanyang potential. So again, I encourage you to consider yung application ng LTO and ng CPR in the future. So in the planning stage of your product development project, already think about this one. So how to secure an LTO and CPR? It's actually easy. Well, it can be relative now, but I say it's easy because you just log into this link or to this, go to this link and it will bring you to this page where you can find all of these information. Like for example, for licensing of food establishments, Meron tayong mga frequently asked questions dyan. What is a license to operate? Who will apply for license to operate? How to apply for LTO if you're a food manufacturer or if you're a food distributor. So lahat ng pwede mong itanong nandyan sa link, sa frequently asked questions. So that's for LTO. For CPR naman, it's also, yung requirements are also found in the same link. Ito yung mga questions na makikita nyo sa link. So you just actually have to read, and all the information is there. But if you really want, a complete guide or step-by-step process on how to apply for food certificate of product registration or CPR, you can go to this link. Nasa YouTube actually. It's a very nice video, step-by-step process kung paano ka mag-secure or mag-apply for the CPR. So I encourage you also, later on if you have time, or if hindi nyo pa ito na-visit, visit this link. Okay. So the reason, again, why another reason why I included CPR in this presentation is that during sa application ng CPR, meron silang hinihingi na product-specific requirements. So, okay, FDA is asking for product-specific requirements. And you can actually see that later on when you do your own application. But in this presentation, ipapakita ko na rin para you already have an idea. So the first na product-specific requirement na hihingiin or that FDA will ask from you is yung complete list of ingredients. Okay? Complete list of ingredients. So you have to declare all ingredients in descending order of proportion. Okay? So dapat lahat. Walang ingredient na hindi mo i-divulge or i-declare rather sa FDA. So you have to include all the ingredients that you used in your product. And then also there are, we have here product description and physical specifications. So you have also to, it's not showing. Anyway, you also have to clearly describe your product. I-describe mo din yung kanyang physical attributes. Like in this example, for example, yung product description, apple juice, and then yung physical specifications, may nakalagay dyan. Color, brownish, odor is apple scent, taste is apple taste, and its texture is smooth, form is in liquid form. So very specific siya. So again, you have to specify that one when you go for the application sa e-portal. Okay, the image is not showing, so I apologize for that. But anyway, let's proceed to the next. So aside from the physical, physical specification, meron din tayong chemical and microbiological specifications. So chemical can be moisture content, water activity, pH, and so on. Okay, and in this example, yung nakalagay na parameter pH, and then yung specification is 3.8. Dito naman sa microbiological na specification, hinihingi yung yeast and mold count. It's less than 1 colony forming unit per ml. Yung coliforms is 1 CFU per ml. Standard plate count is less than 10 CFU per ml. Now, I'd like to emphasize na itong mga figures na to, you actually need to substantiate. You actually need to provide proof of these results. So it's not possible na lalagyan mo lang dyan ng figures and okay na. FDA will surely look for the proof. Like ano yung results ng microbiological analysis mo or microbiological test. So hihingi nila yung documents for that or yung mga laboratory analysis. So again, I mentioned earlier na these are very important considerations when you do your product development. Kasi hindi ka talaga makakalusot. Ito. So this should be included in the planning stage of the product development process. Okay, so it's not shown also here, but anyway, that's not a problem. Now let's go to shelf life and packaging. So here, so shelf life and packaging, you have to declare kung how long your product would last. No? So in this example, 18 months. Okay, and also yung packaging material ay naka-specify, very specific, Tetra Brick Prisma Aseptic Carton. Okay, so take note na, again, when it comes to shelf life na declaration, you have to consider na hihingin talaga yung results, yung laboratory test from this. So hindi tayo makakalusot dyan. Okay, so that's for shelf life and packaging. So declare the shelf life of the product and type of shelf life study conducted, and also declare the packaging materials, including primary and secondary packaging and corresponding shelf life of the product for each packaging materials. So very, very specific. And then also the declared packaging material in the data entry should be specific and consistent with the submitted pictures of the product. Now, if it's a first application, normally you will send a sample. No? So dapat consistent. No? Kung ano yung naka-declare doon should coincide doon sa isasubmit nyo na sample or picture. Okay. And then we have substantiation of nutrition and health claims. So kanina, di ba, may example tayo on mango juice product. So prototyping na part. So let's just say naka-develop ka ng product na may vitamin C or that you're claiming to contain vitamin C. So you're claiming it na meron siyang vitamin C, but you have to substantiate it. And then again, you'll have to show proof. Okay? So again, it will go back dun sa analysis. So kailangan nating mag-conduct ng laboratory test on this para ma-prove natin yung claim na indeed meron ngang vitamin C yung product natin. Okay, so nutrition and health claims declared on the product labels must be supported by relevant documents. So an example of relevant documents would be scientific research, or yung sinabi ko kanina na laboratory results or analysis. Okay, so again, very important, we have to substantiate our claims. Okay, so these are the things that you have to comply with if you are applying for a certificate of product registration. So again, I'd like to reiterate, these considerations you have to include in your planning stage when you do, or when you start a product development. Okay, so in summary, or to summarize, the whole product development process is necessary in developing competitive food products. So there is no shortcut. Product development is very important if you want that your product will be competitive enough. And product development is multidisciplinary. So it is not a one-man's job. So always work with someone who knows about, if your strength is on product prototyping or consumer science, then work with someone who is better at marketing so that you can work hand in hand. So again, it's a teamwork. And product development is systematic and research based. Okay, and a new product can be considered successful if it is a market and financial success. Ito yung parang pinaka-final indicator na naging successful tayo sa ating product development endeavor. If it is going to be a market and financial success. And again, ibabalik ko naman yung CPR. If you really want that your products would, reach the intended clients, so might as well apply for those FDA authorizations para makapasok yung products niya sa different distribution outlets. Okay, and Finally, relevant services and consultancy programs are offered by the Western Visayas Food Innovation Center and DOST6 for MSMEs in the food sector. So it is just a matter of talking to us if you have some issues that you need to talk to related to food product development or food safety and so on. So I think I will end my presentation there. We've been discussing a lot of things already. And I do hope that you learned something out of this presentation. And if ever you have questions in the future, you can always contact us or send us an email at wvfic@gsc.edu.ph, or you can also send us a text message using this uh, mobile number. So I think that would be all for my presentation. Thank you again so much for listening, and I would be very much willing to entertain your questions in the open forum.